definitely not going to be there. And also bringing in a KO as well. It's a lot of added info that's going to be available to Gambit in a lot of these early round scenarios, especially as it's another piece of utility that cycles, just like the dart.
We're kicking things off here with Gambit's attack side already well underway here in the pistol. We've seen a little bit of posturing from both teams, but no full commitments just yet. With a minute 20 left on the clock, this pistol is going to be taken slowly, and that shouldn't come as a surprise when you think about the fact that this is Gambit's attack side. This team is known for leaving it till the last second to make that push on in, the slow defaults that have destroyed the majority of teams on the world scene. So this is going to be a task for Liquid for sure.
It has also destroyed themselves. Let's put that into perspective as well. They are known as one of the best defensive teams ever for a reason, but Defo has got off to a flying start. The classic wall to get themselves an afterplant, and now the rotation has to come in here from Liquid. And honestly, the fallback's already there. We haven't seen the changes on Icebox that are rumored just yet, so this retake's going to be rough.
Yeah, this is going to be a hard one to get back into. Time obviously being an issue. They still have a wall online, though. They've lost Nivera as they attempt to walk on in, and look at these side angles available, playing around the back of yellow. I mean, this is looking like a clean round. Nats was still stuck on the site. Now the wall goes down, but it's going to be broken in just a moment. Halfway defused already. And Redgar has actually knifed Link to close that round out. That's one way to do it.
You can't have a knife round in round one of the VCT. We go right back in, and it is going to be that stack up, and a lot of information already found early from Liquid.
So I mentioned some pistols invested into, but I've seen ScreaM has decided to go for a Marshall. That hasn't exactly worked out, though. The rifle that was invested into by Defo, only good for the one before he goes down. A little bit of damage for the pistols. If they can find another kill here, that'd be fantastic. A nasty plan spot for Nats. Really difficult to do anything about that in a buy round, and even more so when you've only got those pistols to work with.
I feel like that's a wall that at some point we're going to see them mess it up and not be able to plant, and I'm going to giggle quite a lot. Nice shot from soulcas.
I would give you that, right? I would, but it's Nats.
Oh, okay.
So
I thought
that's my point. Yeah. We'll see.
I didn't say Nats. I said someone.
Oh, okay, right.
Someone in our matchmaking games.
Nice little team ace for us. We're going to save over all the rifles. In fact, the 2 Bulldogs and the Phantom coming into this round. So not that much lost if they can drop over some pistols. It is going to lead to some weaknesses here, though, and then something for Team Liquid to potentially exploit.
I've also just thought that a terrifying prospect of Nats is now going to be the one farming up the res. This is something we used to talk about with ScreaM when he played Sage. It was just like you had a res every 2 rounds just because of how many kills he was actually getting. So he's actually only a couple away. Probably not going to be the most impactful here, but as you said, having those rifles could be the difference maker. Quite a bit of early information for both teams. And actually, they're going straight under the tube. An early trade is decent, but it's definitely worked out better in this case for Liquid.
Gambit known for their slow plays, but they want to use the faster pace to take advantage of these weaker weapons. Redgar even going for the flank, but he'll be caught as well. With low HP, Defo didn't stand a chance. That is 2-1. Team Liquid answering back convincingly. And I like what Gambit did on that mid push. They go out and they have players ready to counter all of that utility. I mean, for the first 5 to 10 seconds of that round, it was everybody was doing something at all times. They were shooting down the arrow that's coming down through mid. They're popping out their Viper orb, updrafting, dashing on top, taking all of the angles and applying that pressure to Liquid. But when it came to the crunch inside of the actual hall, there was nothing that they could do. Those duels were dominated.
And actually considering what they had in the last round, it's still a full buy and a Blade Storm available for Defo. So going into this round, it definitely isn't easy pickings. And with Jamppi already gone, a little bit more of an aggressive stance in this round, that is a great start. But an instant trade out with Shock Dart, so not bad.
Not bad at all. But the res is going to come through being online in round 4. As you said, some benefits to Nats being the Sage, getting those plants in as well as obviously the kills that we know he's always going to be finding. Back into the 5v4, and Team Liquid have got a lot of players towards this B side, but it's very difficult to hold off against this kind of push from Gambit. They're going to get a lot of control. They can already be back yellow, and for Team Liquid, every face that they take is a huge risk here. A blind even forces Nivera off the angle, and at this point, I don't even think they can stop that plant.
This is always the benefit. They have put down some utility, and Nats is going to take a lot of damage. He'll be back online in just a second, so again, it's always a rough spot to try and get back into these sort of rounds, especially with no flank available. You've got to try and fight this head on as Liquid, and well, they're just not being allowed any space whatsoever.
It was a good attempt by Liquid to use their Viper utility to stop that plant, even just cause the damage, but nothing found. Now it's sort of suicide to just run in here. They're going to try the wall play. We saw this in the first round unsuccessfully. Oh, but this time finding a lot more for their trouble. Goes down to just the one player, Sheydos. He's going to break the wall and take the kill, running the clock all the way down and guaranteeing that round for Gambit even after his demise. A third round will be found for this attacking side.
Yeah, definitely a little bit closer. And I like the fact this is something I mentioned in the early rounds, or probably about an hour ago now, but it was where if you have yourself a chamber, the Sage Wall can be saved pretty much every round to do something else with it. And that's what Liquid are attempting here, to use it as a counter in those afterplants. There's also something, and this is almost a direct call out, but I want to see if someone can clip this for me. When that shock dart kill came in, did averagejonas say, "That's my shock dart"? Because if he did, then Jonas, you're becoming a little bit too predictable.
You know, I do think when it comes to the hold that Chamber has, countering that out when it comes to the next couple weeks is going to become so much more common. Cypher was used in North America for a long time by some teams to replace the Sage or to have her free roaming in very early days, but the problem was always that, you know, that, Jamppi. That is a nasty shot, and it's the escapism as well. One tap and he's out of there. Now rocking around with an operator to play with, although moving towards the wrong side of the map. It is a that Gambit are at least gravitating towards for now.
And the thing is, though, you actually still have ScreaM there with a rifle, potential Empress if he wants it as well, and pretty much all of his utility online. So although it's open in one sense, the other sense is the ScreaM factor. But they have already tagged him up, forced him back, and well, that ultimate, if he does decide to pop it, will be completely useless. And they know where Link is, forcing him out of the corner with the fragment. A wonderful little cross, but the trades come back in thick and fast. As said, ScreaM's still here. And now, in a 4 versus 2 situation, this looks rough for Gambit.
Not the easiest. Even getting out of here is going to be tough for Redgar. There's so many players up close, and it just turns into a fight. Scrambling to try and grab these kills. Sheydos will be left alone. They're pushing him one at a time. The opportunity's given, but Team Liquid close it out in the end. Came close.
I know that this is something that I've seen people do in CS, but there's like analysis of like where players have their crosshair placed and how much they have to correct their aim. Because I feel like Sheydos, it's got to be such a small margin, because every single time he took one of those fights, it looked like it was spot on. Like he barely even had to move just with how he was predicting where players were going to be. Even still though, that was not a big investment in that round. Like that was, I think, a solo rifle pulled in alongside some pistols, and obviously the tour de force that was picked up eventually by Jamppi. But yeah, they've done well in that round, managing to turn it back. We still expect this map to lean fairly heavily in towards the attacking side with minute changes other than what's being played by the agent. So for Liquid to get a couple of rounds on the board early and destroy the economy of Gambit is a very good sign.
It's going to be a fast round out of Gambit yet again. They love this mid to B play when they're on the lower rifles or weapons this time. The same result will be found though. Team Liquid running all over them, and Jamppi's a good amount of the way towards that ultimate again. 3 quick kills in this round. You know what? One of the things I'm saying when it comes to Chamber and holding down these sort of spots with utility, the disadvantage is if they do start to notice where you're putting that util and they start to destroy it, whether it's with their own util or taking that map control in the early stages, it will not guarantee you the control as long as the Sage Wall does, and it won't necessarily be as slowing. If they decide to push through, it'll give you the information, but oftentimes they're just going to keep pushing, right? So there's downsides to it in that sense, but in this round we saw exactly the reason that it's worthwhile taking that disadvantage. Sure, you're gonna potentially get those traps destroyed and whatever, and so a wall might be better in some situations, but you can just one tap people in the head and then have an op. Like it's absolutely nuts. And in the hands of Jamppi, I think single-handedly essentially winning them that round with the early mid peak and then closing out that trade on the off. That timing is so good. But Sheydos is still caught.
all right, if Link's just going to be that clean, they can just leave spots open all of the time. There was a chance that the double kill went back in the other direction as I believe the drone was actually being utilized. Never mind, though. Chronicle, in a matter of seconds, just waltzes into the A site and evens things up once again. Defo's still lurking around mid, trying to cut off the rotations. And, well, I guess the main problem is the spike.
Yeah, that is a pretty significant issue right now. Link double killing has secured it, and that is insult to injury, confirming the round essentially. As we see the Viper's pit go down, there's no access through middle. This is going to have to be a push from the A side, and there's only 35 seconds left. I mean, Gambit have to essentially run at them, and with no information to play with, like they have no idea where any of these players are. There's even a res online for Link, but he's not going to get to use it. Taking the fight up against Chronicle and losing it. Now we come down to just Nivera inside his ultimate. And yeah, that Viper's pit hasn't quite reached, but hold on, he's going to reposition, getting right ahead of the ult. But Chronicle, luckily, is there to convert it and put a fourth on the board for Gambit. A tightly contested round, but in the end, the attackers maintain the lead.
I doubt you've ever seen two Viper's pits both put there.
Yeah, not on that spot. It's
a peculiar one. But yeah, I think that was the one sort of thing that made that Viper's pit not as valuable is just the fact they didn't quite cover the spike. If it's in there, Nivera can just sit pretty, watch for anybody to try and enter, and maybe there's a chance they close out that round. Instead, the play he made, it was a good one. Got aggressive outside, tried to defend the spike as much as possible, but all in all, considering that was a 3v5, fantastic recovery for Gambit, but still their economy is on the brink. And now Jamppi's going to bring in an operator to try and defend that B site maybe a little bit more solo.
We've already seen what this man can do in the past on agents like Killjoy. He's not going to have opportunities this time, though. Yet again, we're seeing that B site be completely ignored, but the rotations are coming in quickly. And all the ultimates committed here by Gambit. Lots of Hunter's Fury swinging across either side, but no targets hit. Team Liquid end up in this 3v5. They've given up B control. They still have a lot of control because of those traps down. I mean, Chamber is holding down half of the map, essentially. But at this stage, there's nothing Liquid can really do to be proactive without taking massive risks. I think they just have to hope Gambit makes some mistakes as they push.
Yeah, they've used the 0 point to know that there, at least for the moment, wasn't anybody on site. Again, we're going to see this same wall, but Jamppi had an opportunity, doesn't quite connect, and they're just being ripped apart. Again, but not a bad read from Liquid. You see where every single player died. It was on that A site, but they haven't got a single kill. In fact, they've barely even done any damage.
This is starting to feel like a very one-sided, a couple of rounds streak together. There definitely needs to be some discussion from Team Liquid around this A-hold. Losing it way too easily in these early rounds. And when they've got the rifles as well, and like very early on there, Jamppi was rotating as Chamber. He TP'd after peeking in B long, seeing nothing. He used his TP over towards Kitchen, I think. And so he's holding down mid, which allows you to shift one over to A so much quicker, having essentially a 4-player hold on that A side. And then they lose it to a flawless round from Gambit. It's not ideal. And as well as that, Tom, I would add, just take a look at the ultimates. I mean, Gambit are about to have a lot online.
Yeah, it's a weird spot. And that's the thing as well. Like, this A site, one of the toughest, if not the toughest site in the game to defend. There's been so many different variations attempted to try and hold on to the site. In fact, one of them from Liquid was to have raise nades that dropped onto the spike just to try and stop them from planting. We've seen shot darts. We've seen combos with snake bites to just try and deny plants. There's nothing that I think has been consistently successful. That's why most teams, well, they do what Jamppi's doing, which is hold it with an AWP.
Well, the attempt is going to be made, but the opening shot not landed. Jamppi's forced back, and that knife has actually canceled a lot of these players, including Jamppi, who then cannot escape as Nats quickly decapitates him. The side is not Gambit's yet, though. Still a lot of players here to fight, and soulcas has managed to pick one up through the wall. The side still with 4 players on the back. Look at this. The entire defense is just clumped together, waiting for someone to peek through, and Defo almost made a fateful mistake. They're still committing. They're still moving forward. Gambit are not deterred by hearing numbers. They just see free kills, free ult orbs perhaps. Alenka still putting up a fight, taking at least the one down. The res will be attempted, but that's not great. The orb already gonna tick away. Bunch of ScreaM's health, and will be eliminated in the end, putting it down to the 1v2. Link still holding on. A wall in his possession, and the plan still has to be secured for Gambit, but it doesn't matter in the end with the headshot delivered. It is 6-3.
The thing is as well, right? If you're Gambit at this point, do you ever just not go A? Because that was the whole team. That was their whole team with guns, popping an ult, even to try and get some done, operator for Jamppi, and they still managed to win it out. Yeah, it was close, but that's one of those scenarios where if you're Gambit, you just go, well, they literally cannot stop our A take. I don't even know what
if they 5-stack A? Oh, we'll still win. Like, yeah, predictability kind of goes out the window at this point. The straight up strategy has been working, and yet you see Team Liquid go back towards the defaults here. 1-3-1. They're holding down primarily in mid, looking to crunch in on any sort of pushes, but Gambit, oh, okay, they're going towards the A site, which isn't too surprising, but that opening duel is,
yeah, the issue is it's the same problem as before. With the amount of kills and orbs that Nats has been taken, it's only going to last for a moment. And yeah, there you go. Defo's back.
Not kill my allies.
Now they're going to be spamming, but the wall is blocking it, and soulcas gets spammed back by Redgar. That is unbelievable. That was through. I mean, he was in spawn, essentially. Oh, wow. Gambit with the advantage to play with here. Team Liquid still have that rifle, though. It's in the hands of Nivera now. And the team fully stacked up, a situation we've seen again and again. But Gambit, we know their slow play.
Here.
It's their signature style, and they're doing it again. 40 seconds, and they still haven't moved, and yeah, they faked Liquid out.
Oh, it must be so annoying to play against. Like, there's no way they're going to keep pushing here, right, guys? That would be insane. No, they are. They're still just going straight into the A site once again. They have an advantage. They're going to try and get themselves the plant. Players holding, watching to try and catch them as they swing. After plant position once again on this A site. Nice shot from Jamppi, but instant trades from Gambit. They're looking so good in responsive plays, making sure that no advantage can ever be found for Team Liquid. And now, once again, they are just being slaughtered as they try and push back into this site. Defo brought back from the grave, and he takes 3 players with him. 7-3. Gambit, just keep going, eh?
Look, at the end of the day, though, this is the attack side Icebox. This is what we know it for. All hope is not even remotely gone for Team Liquid yet, but we start to add on some conditions here. 3 rounds, it's not quite enough on that defense. We need to see a little bit more from them. Maybe if they can like get the pistol and so on, it's winnable. But we don't want to go to the ifs, ands, and buts. Team Liquid walking into this one, they need this round, and they're investing fully into it. A B take from Gambit is a big change, and as you can see, Liquid are not ready for it. They've only got the 1 player here, and that's a retake wall Nivera's put down.
Yeah, he was left as the solo player. Actually gets tagged up by the drone fairly early, and no one else on the team has made it in for the rotation just yet. You can see that the plan basically would just be to try and get that wall in, Nats, get the plant, and then just fall back to yellow once again. And they've left the lurker on the other side. They know there's not been an aggressive push to get in on the flank just yet.
Well, Team Liquid have got full control over middle. They're watching for a flank play through A. The most important thing is this utility setup on the site. Again, we're going to see it used to try and deny a plant, but the snake bite doesn't come in even remotely on time. It might have bounced off the wall, I'm not sure, but the TLDR is plant is secured, and Gambit now have an advantage. They've also got a late flank coming through from Chronicle potentially. Team Liquid are going to need a miracle to get out with this one.
Yeah, and then a lot of them are going to get all of their utility removed from them. They'll know if there's players in the back corner, and Chronicle is just, he's causing issues. That's what he's really doing. He just needs to be in the back line just to almost say, like, guys, you got nowhere to go. Until you kill me off, the round is over, and Liquid know that. They're just going to try and save their weapons for the next round. These after plants from Gambit have been nigh on flawless, and that's the thing with this map. A lot of what it comes down to is either just winning the round out in gunfights if you're on the defensive side, or denying plants. Liquid have been able to do neither.
Maybe I'm wrong on this, but it looked like Sheydos canceled that retake attempt entirely with the knife. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't put their Viper util up. They couldn't put a wall up. And almost immediately after that knife went down, the team sort of stopped for a second, sort of looked around and went, okay, let's get out of here. You know, there's no opportunity to get back in. They would have to take all the fights in the open. Their opponents still had utility. They still had like a fragment and everything to play with. That round was unwinnable. And so Team Liquid, they saved these weapons. This is the round that they look to make value from them, and it's ScreaM getting aggressive on the Reyna, but they're spotting it. Even though Liquid haven't been going for this, Gambit are still being conscious, and they've got an op watching for Link re-aggressing. I mean, Team Liquid, everything that they try, it seems like Gambit are on their team speak.
Yeah, and again, we're going to get into these afterplants once again. Shot dart line up. Might kill off Nats, but I don't think it was timed quite well enough. So no, he's going to be able to survive in this corner and has teammates alongside him. Flanks also being watched. This duel is everything. If Chronicle wins it, the round is already over, and he hasn't missed a beat. He hasn't missed a shot this entire game, I don't think.
Now, we talked about the original iteration of the 9-3 curse. I heard Ryan bringing it up earlier on the desk. Looks like we might have a second opportunity. We'll run it back, so to speak. 9-3 as we close things out. An impressive attack side from Gambit, it has to be said. And, you know, I'm gonna look into this one, into this pistol, and say, Team Liquid, yeah, you're gonna want this round.
Yeah, and the scariest thing as well is, I imagine this was mentioned by the desk, when you look at the maps at Champions, at least, that Gambit were very comfortable playing, Breeze was at the top of the list, so it's a bold pick coming in for Liquid. Now, obviously, they've seen the scrims they've been playing against. They probably have a lot more information than we currently do, because we haven't seen either of these teams since Champions, so it's definitely a little bit of a different ballgame in terms of where people's map pools currently sit, but at the moment, Gambit look sick.
They do. They really and truly do. It's not just about the rounds being won, but the fact that Team Liquid have stacked up sites and tried so many different things and just met a brick wall of resistance every time. It was impressive, but as we said, things are not over yet for Team Liquid. There is a lot of pressure coming into this pistol round, though. On this attack, they'll be going to the A site. 3 players from Gambit here already, and mainly it's Defo, but he gets blinded up. A good Lear that avoids that aggression, really finding anything. Somehow, Defo is still alive in the cover from Sheydos. Nets them the opening duel. Another landed. A quick shot from Defo, but quickly returned by Link, who's now left to fall back and try to heal himself up. His teammates falling around him, and again, we end up with the advantage in favor of the defense. Oh, you lunatic! He's just gone up, rushing in towards the spawn. Are they ready for this?
Oh, it actually worked out. Obviously, the knife definitely didn't help, and now they know where Link is on the site, trying to just take the fights at this point. Getting a plant seems now impossible, unless he's going to try and go back. He's got the time for it. Obviously, needs to get out of earshot so that he can just start running. But yeah, there's not going to be a rotation, so chances are there will at least be an afterplant for Link, and if he can get himself in a spot where he can try and find an individual duel, there's a very real world that the Clutch King will win this round.
Opportunity presenting itself, that's for sure. And this is going to be a long one. He has so much time for this post plant. Go wherever he wants, but
10 seconds left.
Obviously, Link doesn't know that. Having healed himself up earlier, no armor, no shields to play with. And Gambit are going to approach this together. No steps are heard. Link has the info, but he's been spotted. That's caught him. Oh man, I mean, they know exactly where he is. He's hardly playing up close on the wall, is he? No, there he is up above. They're ready for this fight now. This gets so much more difficult for Link. He comes so close, man. Look at the HP on Nets.
It's frustrating.
25.
And especially now you have to consider that's another 4 orbs for Nats in round 1. So there's likely to be another res coming in before this game is out, depending on how quickly it actually goes, because that's not the position now that you want to be in if you're Liquid. You win that pistol, I really don't think it's far out of reach to come back into this one. The problem now is you either have the choice of forcing back in off the back of a few kills and, well, the plant, which gives you some extra credits, or you take this as like a few pistols, a flat eco, and the chances are you're going to allow them to get to 11 and have a decent economy to play their bonus.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues here for Team Liquid. No easy road, that is for sure. Chronicle in the jump spot. Gonna be falling back from here. Retrieving the orb, pop it down there. And the same thing that we saw coming out from Liquid's defensive side. And it's become very common on Icebox now. Have that orb in position, snake bite on the other side. And at least you're damaging whoever's planning it, if not taking them down entirely.
Yeah, I think they've been a little bit more preemptive with the utility, though. They've almost just said, like, we're not even going to allow you to get anywhere near placing a wall down, although I don't know if Link actually has it into this round. So that would be a big problem anyway, if you were going to try and get yourself an afterplant with a wall if you actually don't have it at all.
Yeah, kind of tough to use the wall without having it.
You just have to believe it's there, you know?
got...
Like, in your mind, if you think the wall is there, then there's no way you can take any damage.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's how it works, but I appreciate.
There's a reason I'm not a soldier. Let's put it
believe. That way. Yeah. There's more than one reason.
Too handsome is the other. Anyway, we're gonna have that rotation. Yeah, that too. 25 seconds for them to try and get anything done. They've gone back to this B site, but the fact is, Gambit haven't moved. There are still 3 players ready and waiting on this cross, and they're trying to get a little bit more aggressive because they want to try and find some kills, kill off some players before they actually get this plant down. Jamppi will at least get 1, but Link's been dropped, and that means they haven't managed the plant. soulcas getting a 2nd kill. They're making this one costly at least, but now the time running out, and they could just not kill ScreaM.
Oh my god, of course he gets that frag. Yeah, you know, the thing is 10 more seconds on that clock, and all of a sudden, I believe that's winnable. 11-3 we go, though, and the problem's really brewing up. Gambit, sure, they can come in and write this round off if they want to, but the way things have been going, I expect them to just full invest at this point.
But yeah, it's a weird spot when you lose that many players. Like, you're sort of going to be left in an awkward position in the next round anyway, where you'll probably have a buy, but there might be a piece or two missing. They're actually not going to invest. They're going to play this very, very safe. ScreaM will end up getting a rifle, but it's at the cost of Link not having one. And yeah, I kind of feel if that wasn't a stinger, he probably gets a kill.
I have to agree with you there, Tom. If it was a classic, he might have
should have had the Lothar buy, and then it would have worked.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Had that one coming. Well, look, at 11-3, Gambit really impressed me with what it says about them, that they've taken this sort of an investment. They're not in a rush to end this game. They want to win. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter if they are a little bit late for dinner. That drone has spotted a player up close, and Chronicle almost gets away with a kill, but obviously the Spectre not quite dealing the damage that you'd want at that range. So that plant's going to be secured, and Team Liquid should have an easy round.
Yeah. And they're going to put themselves in a great position as well. Getting a lot of kills in the last brings a lot of ultimates very close to being online, and even getting very close to a res for the next round if they desire it. Sheydos, he just wants to make this as costly as possible. And hey, Jamppi going down a rope. He almost had ScreaM as well. But it's just going to be the 1 kill. So Liquid, finances will be fine going into the next one. Gambit, though, I think they will have a purchase. As I said, the few shields missing, maybe a piece of utility here and there, not quite bought up, but it's still a solid buy.
Yeah, all in all, this is, with the lead that's there, more than comfortable. Team Liquid's attack, it's where they stand the best chance of really clocking up these rounds and making it work, but they have very little room for error. Now, the upside here with the last round being decently convincing for Liquid is that they've walked out with quite a lot of cash. Like, losing 1 round now won't put them onto an eco for the final, but that's a very thin silver lining.
It's like, you won't be completely screwed, but you will be very screwed.
You're just most likely out of the map, but...
Again, they're going to put the pressure in onto Chronicle. I feel like he's trained that a million times, just picking up the orb and fading away, and they're also going to spot the lurk of Link on the other side of the map. Not normally the player that you'd have waiting behind, because, well, how are you planning on getting onto a B site if you don't have your wall? So they'll have a little bit of time. I think it might even be a little bit hesitant in their rotation in towards the B site and actually give more space over than you might think. Could it be possible that Link waited there intentionally? If so, that's big brain.
It could be. With this play coming onto the B site, you're having the rotation from Gambit. Your drone is about to spot at least 1, but look who's up close. Okay, ScreaM got seen as well. Snakebite's going to be late. Oh, Snakebite's actually bounced off the edge of the wall, so never mind. But Redgar still able to catch Link on the fade back. ScreaM went down too. The advantage now sitting comfortably in favor of Gambit. This was looking good for Liquid, but it took a nosedive real quick.
Yeah, they switched up the wall just to try and deny the snake bite, and then they end up getting caught by bullets instead. Not quite a worthwhile trade-off. Decent flash will leave one blind, and the kills coming back from soulcas. It leaves just one standing, but he has torn them apart. 4 kills in this round that was looking like it was going to come towards the end of the map with Gambit hitting 12 instead. soulcas helps them live to fight another day.
A crazy pivot in that round, considering the amount of damage that was found in the spawn there by Redgar. I am impressed that they were able to get anything done, let alone a round win. And a lot of props has to go to soulcas on that side. That hold around yellow. Oh my. Covering every single duel perfectly. 11-5. Eco coming out of Gambit. And this is Liquid's opportunity to connect that 6th, help themselves out a little bit, feel that little bit more confident. They've almost lost ScreaM straight away, but they'll be healed on up surely.
Yeah, they do have to be a bit careful. Defo managed to get the orb for the Blade Storm. Fragment will hold them back a little longer, but he's the danger man. And he's dead, because he peeked into the drone. I love the confidence.
You thought they were gonna come running through right after, but yeah, the reveal instead coming into play. Nice shot by Nats. 3 versus 2, still good opportunity for Gambit to maybe pry some weapons out of the hands of Team Liquid, do some extra damage.
Last player
But in the end, it'll be 3 alive for Liquid, and you know, damage this late in the game ain't gonna play that big of a story. It's just all about Gambit picking up this buy round right here, and it's the operator in the hands of Defo that starts to scare me.
Yeah, it'll be no shields. So
no shields,
yeah. It's going to be at a risk. This is the thing. This is why you saw the shock of Sue when we had a no jet coming through. One of the main ways you're going to see this defense played on the A site in particular is just how aggressive that he's going to get. Like you can see him push onto the belt, dash away after hitting or missing a shot, and there's very little that their opponents can actually do to stop him from getting away with that. There's also just some of the elevated angles, which sure you could do with the chamber, but it's why we've seen even ScreaM at times on this map playing jet, because there's just so many opportunities for those aggressive individual plays to work out, which you can't do as well, at least with Arena. So they're going to have to be very wary of that. Of course, Liquid have played Icebox before, so they will be very wary of that, because it is one of the only defensive strategies that people have at the moment on this map. So I don't think that's going to be too much of a worry for them, but it is defo. And when as said, I wanted to see the level coming out of him in this online stage of the tournament. He's looking pretty decent.
A gift.
Has been one of my favorite players.
For sure.
On the scene for so long, and you know, it was someone that I was very excited after all the rumors in EMEA back in the day, stage 1, stage 2. You know, it was like, oh, these guys are incredible in the scrims, defo, and then you get to see him, and well, I'll say in scrims, he still has not reached his top potential when it comes to officials. Not even close. The guy is unbelievable. That is an aggressive push out of defo with no shields. He gets away with it. No kill, but Chronicle's doing a damn good job of holding down B. Still on this choke point around yellow. His utility covering the walkthrough on B. And with that double kill spike drop, look at the repositioning. But that has actually allowed soulcas to sneak all the way through. And with that knife going out, he knows there's a player right up above him. It's the KO, but he'll be P from the side still. Getting away with one. Sheydos will get the jump on him, though, and leave Yumpy's operator as the final player. We hyped up this agent pick in this man's hands, but I think a 1v4 is a little too much to expect from him.
Yeah, especially with the position of the spike. Like, it really couldn't be much worse. You've got 2 players around the angle. Players have spotted him in mid as well, and he now no longer has enough bullets to actually kill the remaining players on the team. So he'll have to either find a gun or switch up to his pistol, and he's not even going to be given the chance. Nats with the repeat will close out this round, and yeah, Gambit back to Gambit ways. 12-6. Chronicle as well, like, again, he was one of, I want to say one of, if not even the best player that we saw at Champions. He was unbelievable. I think only, if they had won the event, he was MVP. I don't even think that's in question. So the fact that, again, he's come in swinging, 18-8, playing Viper, which he has played before, but not necessarily so much on this map. I think Gambit are flying. And as I said, going into the next map, where I think, at least in the past, he also played Viper, might be time to be a little bit scared if you're a Liquid fan.
6 attempts, all those ultimates as well for Gambit. I mean, they've got a deep ulti bench to play with, as do Team Liquid, but it's the fact that Gambit only need the 1 round, right? They had 1 recovery, and they are done and dusted on this. A very aggressive push out of screen. He's up on top trying to play around that wall. Hunter's Fury will be committed, and it's available on the other side. Redgar trying to grab some tags. This is ludicrous as the Viper's Pit comes out of Nivera. The site will be secured, but screen goes down to even the numbers.
It looks like a strong possibility of an afterplant. There is a res available for Link, but getting to scream, I think it's going to be easier said than done. He was perched up around that wall. Unless it's actually been sectioned off. If it's below, he might actually be able to get something done here. Jamppi also waiting, but they'll be held back, and it's mainly going to come down to this Viper's Pit. Can it be cleared? Defo goes above, though, and that's soulcas gone. Thankfully, though, Link's still within the pit alongside Nivera, and they are holding this one down.
Incredible movement from Link there. He's going to get the flank in to close out this round. He so quickly maneuvers himself from taking that fight on the site, jumps up on top of the boxes, silently gets himself up above, and then drops back down behind. I mean, that was expert play. 5 rounds now needed, but another concern, Hunter's Fury and Viper's Pit used up by Team Liquid. Now, Gambit did do the same, using the exact same ultimates, in fact, you know, in for penny, in for pound on that one. And so Team Liquid do end up with the ult advantage. If anything, you know, despite the fact, obviously, they won that round, but it was a very beneficial one for them moving forward, purely because they've evened the playing field a little bit.
And they're still in the map.
That too. I mean, that's kind of what I implied by saying, yeah, they won the round, but there's more to it than just a round on the board.
For sure, for sure. Well, yeah, and also the finances of Gambit are in the bin, so should be a fairly free round for Liquid, already managing to catch the aggression of Defo on that A site. And now we'll see how Gambit are actually going to take some risks. Nats has managed to push into mid, though. And with spotting nothing on that side, it might allow them to at least stack up on this B site a little bit.
Yeah, that drone's certainly giving away those sound cues. Gambit are fully moving into the B site, but how much can you really do? I mean, with full utility, Team Liquid have an easy plant. We've seen the snakebite strategy of practically no success so far, and then once they go back to these post plants, they out-aim you on range every time.
And Nat still has his wall, but again, it's whether he actually wants to put it into this round. He's going to take the head off Nivera, though. The flank at least gone, and they could just fall back and save a rifle. Instead, he is going to try and wall up. There is absolutely no way this works, but he gets rid of screaM as well. And Sheydos will fall to the hands of soulcas. Again, a couple of kills. I don't think it's going to play any part in ultimates because Nat's already had his online, and for the other side, still plenty of finances anyway. So somewhat irrelevant in terms of the purchase. And actually, Nats, this is one of the things that could have made a difference. So after he got the kill there, he could have gone back and actually picked up the rifle and saved that into the next round. So maybe that would have been the better choice.
With 4 opportunities to close this out, I mean, that's at least 2 buy rounds coming out of Gambit. A force mixed in there as well. There's a whole lot of opportunity, but it's starting to feel more and more doable for Team Liquid. We talk about that 9-3 curse with these 2 teams on this map. Well, it hasn't come into fruition just yet. Team Liquid with a super slow early stage, and they won't quite get that opening kill, although to me it looked on.
Yeah, the magic trick this time doesn't wow the crowd quite as much as usual, and 2 players. Why actually get spotted here? Did he just deny the drone? I think it had to be shot anyway, but they've left Sheydos behind. If he wasn't spotted, this could be the snake in the grass that ruins things for Team Liquid. They're going to come sneaking through. Oh, I think it was a bit of an off position from Sheydos. Moves his crosshair and gets caught by screaM, and he's able to fade away.
The hunt begins.
Just as he tried to jump up onto that lip, or jump off it rather, the peak comes around, ruining his day entirely. The operator, not deterred, Defo will stay aggressive, but there will be no reward found for that, and Gambit again locked out of the site. Nats has a res, so if they can manage to fight themselves forward, that should be pretty easy to get Sheydos back online. But look how aggressive Team Liquid are being because of this. They do not want to give any space to Gambit on this retake. They want to make them fight for every inch. There's quite a lot for them to work with in terms of util, and I think Gambit are realizing you're not winning this round. Even saving, though, is going to be pretty difficult because Team Liquid are throwing themselves at those players. Try and drop the weapons out of their hands.
Yeah, they might as well chase it. They've got plenty of finances available to them. I think... Oh, such a leg shot. soulcas manages to jump out, and the remaining players, they may be on the chase, but I think Gambit are going to be able to save. But yeah, I've quite liked the afterplants of Liquid so far. They have been quite aggressive in the way that they played, but with ScreaM's ability to dismiss and then just basically denying that space, having the slows available as well from Link to just stop this pushback into the site. And the fact that I feel like, again, the same for both teams, these aggressive plays really haven't been working. I liked the idea from the sort of bait and switch of Defo and Sheydos, but of course timing played a little bit of a part. But the other thing as well is there wasn't really an out for Sheydos. He basically had to get that kill and then run away, which I feel like chances of success are fairly small.
Yeah, it's one of those rounds where they take a few risks, it doesn't pay off, and now I start to get even more worried. I mean, Gambit, 3 chances to close it out. Opening duel going in favor of Jamppi, and that is the operator gone. I mean, look, for Gambit, this is another round that they can kind of throw away. They don't have to be too upset if it doesn't end up going in their favor. But Liquid are starting to build up the momentum, and that's where I think a lot of their power is coming from. Oh, this is dangerous. Yeah, the drone has caught him up close.
Oh, the cursed drone. There's a reason you're always going to see Sova played on this map, and that is basically it. Denies any of that space being taken. Same after plant again for Liquid, and a Chronicle that there's a very good argument for him just running away with this operator. Like, maybe he wants to try and get a kill towards his ult, but chances of victory slim to none. They haven't been able to do it with rifles. I don't know why they think they can do it with a solo operator, but hey, he's already managed to get 1 kill. I guess he's tempted to go for it.
They really don't have a lot of credits on the Gambit side. This is strange to see them committing to it. Sheydos has an opportunity converted.
No.
Oh, the shot from Chronicle on the money. soulcas not actually really having that much time on his side. The spray is close. He's out of ammo halfway already. Sheydos gets it. It's done. Gambit have got the map 13-9, only a few seconds left in it. A few more bullets in the magazine, and Team Liquid win that round and keep on fighting. That is mind-blowing to see it end like that.